First thing I want to say about this is that these MGTOW dudes are very, very sensitive. I would say the average MGTOW person is more sensitive than the average black man or black person in general in America when it comes towards racism and someone saying the N-word. MGTOW, they're very sensitive. You say something wrong, they'll get in your ass. They will get in your ass. You say anything wrong, they will get in your ass. You gotta be very careful with MGTOW people. They are very, very sensitive. You better step correct or they're gonna let you know instantly. They're very sensitive. I've learned this. But MGTOW, what is MGTOW? To me, MGTOW is a bunch of bitter niggas. They are bitter niggas. They have some points, but at the end of the day, no matter what points they have, they are bitter niggas. And I'm going to tell you why. These dudes complain about the common day culture of relationships. Like men should have to, for example, these are examples that men should pay for the bill. During a divorce, women could get half the money and all those kind of things. That women expect to be treated this way and men aren't expected to get this and that. So basically, they complain about the bad things women do, like being sneaky, using sex as a weapon, all those things. And they make sense and I understand it. But at the end of the day, what kills me about MGTOW is that I don't think they know how to be men with their women, and I don't know if they know how to take half the blame. That's why MGTOW is a joke to me, and it'll always be a joke to me. A bunch of bitter niggas.
Here's the problem with using adjectives as arguments. Calling MGTOW bitter or anyone bitter, it doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. By your own admission, you said that MGTOW makes points, that they make points that you understand, that makes sense. Yet and still, because you think they don't know how to control their women, be men with their women, quote unquote, that they're bitter, that we as men live in a society where we are expected as men to take care of women, to provide for and to protect women. We're bitter if we reject that reality. You've got to be kidding me.
First of all, when you pick a woman, you picked her. If you keep getting fucked over in relationships, it's because of the women you're picking.
I would agree with you, except that it's too easy to be fake until you get what you want. I mean, how many times have we heard the stories about the women being one way before marriage and doing a complete 180 after marriage?
And or because of number two, because you don't know how to have a decent sense of control over your women. Now, what I mean by that, I don't want to say you should control women. That's why I try to say that as carefully as possible. You got to have a certain amount of control of your woman.
I'm not saying that you should control your woman. I'm saying that you should have a decent amount of control over your woman, though. No, but in all seriousness, I know what he's trying to say. He's saying, essentially, that you should be in control, but not controlling. And I agree with that, except, again, women are going to try you. They are. They will. I mean, it is what it is. The question for many MGTOW, especially myself, is that worth the effort? Is the input worth the output? Because at that point, and women will try you, as I said before, is it worth going to jail over? Because if you do your whole huffing and puffing routine, frown your face, make faces, raise your voice, whatever, and now she calls the cops, at least in the state of Florida, you could have a charge put on you, a domestic violence, because that is domestic violence, not domestic disturbance, charge on you. Is it worth it? For me, no. And I think for most MGTOW, the answer is no. Next.
I've been out here in Russia for 3 years, and one thing I know better than anyone else in Russia is how men control their women. Why do you guys think I know that better than almost anyone else in Russia? Why do I know? Why do I know that better than any other?
Okay, skip.
But now to another reason I don't really like MGTOW. Just like religion, when you join these groups, you tend to look at other people as less than you, and it's so fucking pathetic. I don't see MGTOW as less than me. I don't see the point of MGTOW. That's my thing. There's no point of MGTOW. It's ridiculous. There's no point. A lot of groups are pointless, and there's probably just some rich guys behind it making money. That's it.
Okay, first off, MGTOW is not a group. Second of all, we're not being backed by some rich guys that's making money off of us, which just shows how little you know about MGTOW. Third of all, the point of MGTOW, again, it depends on the individual man. It's not like a group thing kind of thing. Yes, there have been individuals in the past that have attempted this whole how does Stardust say it? Board consensus. And it gets rejected every single time. But the point to MGTOW, at least for myself, is to put myself first, to see myself more than just a sacrificial lamb, to be more than just a provider and protector for some vagina and some offspring that I'm going to wish I never had. I'm more than just fodder for some war or for some woman and child. Next.
Stop listening to these other dudes saying, if you buy a drink the first night, you're a mangina. Forget them. They're bitter niggas. They're bitter about stuff. I don't know what they're bitter about. Now, I'm not saying all MGTOW is bitter, but they all have bitterness to them because they wouldn't be MGTOW.
Want to know what's worse than someone resorting to insults? Someone resorting to insults and they cannot articulate why they are resorting to those insults. Now, you said MGTOW, not all MGTOW, but MGTOW were bitter. And then you turn around and say that they wouldn't be MGTOW if they weren't bitter. So this, I mean, you were just talking out of your ass. You were.
And I know the MGTOW people are going to get at me, but I don't give a damn, man. If you're a real man, you don't need to join MGTOW. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Be a fucking man and have some balls.
So in other words, man up. MGTOW.